tonight.
Is it hard to believe that it happens 2 years in a row like that, Geno?
Yeah, I would say it's hard to believe. Obviously much harder than the first time. There were a lot of things that happened during the game that each team had a chance to prove what kind of team they were, and there was no backing down either way. And just like last year, it came down to one play, one shot, and they made it.
Why do you say this is more difficult than last year?
Well, I think the amount of times that we had to come back tonight, both at the end of regulation when we were down and it looked like it was over, and then in overtime when it looked like it was over and we tied it. So we kept fighting back, and so I think it stings a little more when you have it happen after you've experienced that part of it.
Crystal hits a 3 to put you guys up 8 in the fourth quarter. You kind of thinking to yourself, okay, maybe we finally pushed the rock over the hill here. That's it.
Yeah. The only problem is the amount of times they got to the free throw line was just we couldn't compensate for that. They were just really aggressive in the lane, and we knew going in, they attacked the backboard, and they made a couple really tough shots. I mean, the one shot Enrique made that rolled up from under the rim and rolled around and went in. I mean, it was that kind of a game, and they were just way more physical than us in Blaine tonight. And Jackie Young was spectacular. I mean, say what you will about Enrique, but I thought Jackie Young gave them. She was the difference tonight. Obviously, we knew what Enrique was going to be able to do, and we thought we would do a good job on her. We thought we'd do a good job on Lena Mabry, but Jackie Young was too good for us.
Usually in that case, girl has a big first half like that. You make adjustments, second half she gets shut down. Young got better in the second half.
Yeah.
Were you not able to execute the adjustments, or do you just tip your cap to her and say, give her credit where credit's due?
I mean, when you have 3 perimeter players like they have, something's got to give, and we did concentrate a lot of our efforts on Enrique and Marina Mabry, and we just weren't good enough to defend all 3 of them tonight. And we tried a lot of different things, and in the first half we were able to zig and zag a little bit with them, but once Enrique started hitting shots in the second half and started asserting herself, then we were spread out even thinner.
Everyone will say it's unfair to judge a season by one game, yet your players themselves are saying, you know what, the season just doesn't seem right because we lost.
That's where we live. That's the world that we live in. That's the world that we created. And, I think I had said something earlier in the week that, at the end of this weekend we could be, 70-something and 2, and look around and say, well, we don't have anything to show for it. And, I mean, it's unfortunate, don't get me wrong, but these kids, the last 5 months have been pretty amazing. They've been pretty spectacular. Every single game that we've had to be great, we've been great. And tonight will hurt a lot for them, obviously. But I think as time goes by, they'll get a better appreciation for what happened this season. But they're not going to forget this one. This one was a tough one.
Your seniors can't be defined by 2 losses, right? I mean, they've done too much.
I don't think so. I mean, you look at their record over 4 years at Connecticut, and I could list you a list of kids that played college basketball that were icons in the game and went on to be great players in the pros that didn't win 2 national championships in college. And these 2 kids helped us do that. So you always like to take things and look at the big picture, and the big picture is pretty amazing for both Kia and Gabby. And for the other guys, they get a chance to come back and build on this. We were saying up there that I've been saying for the last 15, 20 years that winning national championships is hard. And I don't think anybody would believe me because it just seemed so routine for a while. But these last 2 years, I think that's a big reminder that this is really hard to do.
Hard to believe, too, that when you think about it, because Lou was hurt her freshman year, she'll go to her senior year, never having played in a championship game, and now Crystal gets to her junior year. I mean, with all the wins and stuff, it just doesn't seem right.
Well, again, when you think about what you just said, Rich, wow, a kid went to Connecticut and didn't play in a championship game. How awful and how unfair, and that's 99% of the kids that play college basketball. But the thing that this reminds you is that you start the season and you say, well, our goal is to go to the Final Four and win a national championship. And I bet you 20 schools, 25 schools probably think that. But it's not going to happen for everybody. And it's happened for us a lot of times for a long time. But these last 2 years are a big reminder, a huge reminder. And Lou's got another chance. Fisa's got another chance. Crystal's got 2 more chances. And we'll see where that goes.
Geno, you coach execution all year, play against the guys in practice, everything. But it comes down to one moment these last 2 years. Is there anything in your coaching mind that how do you kind of like rectify or justify or walk away from those 2 moments?
Well, what's funny is we got the ball exactly where we wanted to get it at the end of regulation. I was surprised that Gabby was that open to catch it in the lane, and I think she just lost track of how much time there was. There was 3 seconds left in the game. She probably had time to catch it, and what are you going to do? I mean, you can prepare and you can go over and you can do all that stuff. It still comes down to when you're in the moment, you either make a good decision or you don't make a good decision. You either make a shot or you don't make a shot. That's 2 years in a row, and it's funny because this season probably more than I say in the last 10 years. We probably had scenarios like that at practice more times than we have in the last 10 years, if you add them all up. And I, unlike last year, where I thought we've always struggled in practice executing these things. That happened every day last year. This year, it almost never happened. We were really good at everything we worked on, but it just didn't work.
So last year you had 2 early tests, Florida State and Baylor, then it was kind of like cruise right through.
Yeah.
This year, that wasn't the case. You had UCLA, you had Texas, you had Notre Dame. Did you think this team in this situation was better prepared to execute down the stretch because you've been game tested that way?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, there is no easy answer. When there is no easy answer for those questions, Notre Dame plays in a different conference, and I bet you nobody asks them whether their conference or their schedule prepares them rightly or wrongly, for what's going to happen in the Final Four. Same with Louisville. So you would think when you're up 5 with under a minute left in regulation, you should put the game away, right? Well, they didn't, because that's what happens. That's what happens. And
I know it's not a consolation, but when you do things enough, Celtics lost a Game 7 to the Sixers at Boston Garden. Yankees lose a 3-0 lead in 04 to the Red Sox. When you're there that many times, it's almost inevitable in sports that it's not going to all going to be great, but you put yourself in a position year in and year out to be there.
that's the only requirement that really players, coaches can honestly say, listen, we want to be there every year to have a chance to win a championship. And, you know, Notre Dame's got a chance to win a championship tomorrow. And the last one they won was 2001. So if you knock on the door enough times, eventually you're going to have a chance and you're going to win. So I like the fact that year in and year out, we put ourselves in a position to win it. To think that you're going to win it every year, and to think that every bounce is going to go your way and every shot is going to drop, and you know, that's just totally unrealistic.
It almost seemed unfair for Kia's career to end the way it did, because she didn't shoot the ball very well. She gave up a couple, drives or shots. I mean, just tough to see her end like that.
Yeah, but we came out of a timeout and we said we need a turnover here, and she stole the inbounds pass and got a layup. So, as I said, we weren't playing against bad players. So sometimes I think what gets lost is that just because you do some good things, that means the other team isn't going to have something to say about it. The hard part about these games is we actually talked about it before we came out here. I don't know who I was talking to. I said we can go into this weekend and do everything right and lose, because that's how good the teams are that are going to be there. And I think Louisville faced the same thing. You can do everything right during the course of the game, and still not win. Whenever it gets to the point where the only thing that matters at Connecticut is you have to win the national championship every year, and you have to win, year after year after year, and every shot that the other team takes late in the game has to not go in, and every shot you take, every play you make has to happen. If it ever gets to that point, if I was a kid, I would never come to Connecticut. There's got to be more to it than just that. Way more to it than that. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, that's where we are, and it's okay. But you got to keep it in perspective and say there's two good teams playing, and I can give you scenarios over and over and over again. Just happened to the Patriots this year. What do you think, you're going to go and put yourself in that position year in and year out and year in and year out, and you're going to keep coming up with all the answers? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That didn't happen tonight.